Got you looking in the shadows, see you creep. We are the shadow, I should wait you deep. Your face on the loose, hit list seal. What makes you feel real? Justice calling with a range of sound. We're in and the mercy, murder sound. Ain't mercy jacket. See ya, shovel, burning in that fire. Leave the kids alone, buried in the mire. Lock you up forever, pay for your sin. Wood chip awaits, this is the end you'll spin. Your lives unraveled under our gaze. Brendan the caught lost a wicked maze. Your burdens unclear, society draped with a truly fear. Religious fear back, prison walls closes my faith to black. See ya, shovel, burning in that fire. Leave the kids alone, buried in the mire. Lock you up forever, pay for your sin. Wood chip awaits, this is the end you'll spin. You won't ever escape. Justice like thunder, sealing your fate. Oh, warning to all our children, you'll not touch. Your downfall is here, it's the final touch. See ya, shovel, burning in that fire. Leave the kids alone, buried in the mire. Lock you up forever, pay for your sin. Wood chip awaits, this is the end you'll spin.
When predators are targeting a child, they're most likely going to go after the most accessible child that they have to them.
So they'll look at their social media, they'll look at their school, they'll look at the pictures they're posting.
They will either befriend this child or become part of their friends lists or become part of their contacts and followers. You've got to get involved. You've got to make sure that things are appropriate and that their friends lists are checked, the people they're playing games with are checked.
Have these conversations so that it is a safe environment, so that if an individual does contact them online, they know that they can talk about what has happened.
The Know to Protect campaign will educate and empower children, teens, parents, trusted adults, and policymakers to prevent and combat online child sexual exploitation and abuse.
Because of how vast this problem is, it's not one that we can arrest our way out of. We need your help. To learn more, go to knowtoprotect.gov.
A Livingston man is behind bars for possession of child pornography. According to the department, a citizen group called Predator Partners contacted police saying they were in talks with David Burks, who wanted to meet up with the child.
Wait a minute, hold the phone. Predator Partners? No, we've got to fix that. There we go. Let's get it right. Predator Poachers.
Once officers arrived on the scene and were provided evidence on the man, Burks was arrested and charged with possession of less than 100 depictions of child pornography. Livingston PD says more charges are expected on Burks.
New tonight, a Rhode Island man is facing charges in Florida of grooming and sexually exploiting a child. Florida's Attorney General says 29-year-old Justin Atkins was arrested in West Warwick last week. He's accused of using online video games, Fortnite and Roblox, along with Snapchat, to coerce a child into making and sending pornographic pictures and videos. Atkins is being held without bail and will be extradited to Florida.
Starts now.
They say it went on for years. Police in Oakland County arrest a man suspected of sexually assaulting a child he'd been hired to babysit. Thank you so much for being with us here for the News at 6. I'm Kimberly Gill.
And I'm Damon Fernandez. Police in West Bloomfield fear there may be more than one victim tied to the man arrested last month. That's because of what they found on Michael Banks' devices inside his home in West Bloomfield Township. Pamela Osborne has been speaking with police about this case and joins us live now. Pamela, such a disturbing case here.
It really is, and we want you to take a look because that is what West Bloomfield police want you to see. This is Michael Bank. Now, the mother of his alleged victim found him on this website, sittercity.com, and because of that evidence that you mentioned that they found in his home, they believe there are more child victims out there.
These are some deeply disturbing allegations against our main suspect here.
58-year-old Michael Allen Bank, seen here in a mugshot, advertised his babysitting services on the website sittercity.com. West Bloomfield police say a local mother hired Bank to nanny for her young child a few years ago, and
over the following years, it's alleged that he engaged in that criminal sexual conduct with the child.
The alleged abuse came to light last month. On January 15th, West Bloomfield police arrested Banks at his Arrowview home. A subsequent search of his home and devices revealed even more unsettling material.
We started to find what we believe to be evidence of more child victims.
That multitude of evidence is said to have included children in various compromising positions and acts with a man investigators say appears to be Michael Bank himself. And that is why West Bloomfield police are asking any parents out there who may have hired Bank, who believes their children may have come into contact with him, give them a call. There's a number at the bottom of your screen there that goes to Detective Cherry over at West Bloomfield PD. He's the one investigating this case. For now, reporting live, I'm Pamela Osborne, Local 4.
Yeah, thank you, Pamela. Thanks for bringing this to light.
Authorities arrested a man in Hawaii who was wanted in Spokane County for alleged child rape. Spokane Valley police say 57-year-old Wilson Ralpho had a warrant for 3 counts of rape of a child in the 2nd degree and 2 counts of child molestation in the 1st degree. Investigators say Ralpho left the state after he learned about these pending charges. The U.S. Marshal Service says he will be in custody while waiting to be extradited back to Spokane.
Breaking right now at 10, the search has ended for an escaped inmate in Troup County. Authorities confirmed they arrested Christian Joel Marcos Cortez. In the last hour, authorities think he used a door and then climbed a fence to escape this morning. We're working to learn more, so be sure to stay with the Land News First for more details.
This morning, a 79-year-old woman pleaded guilty to 19 counts of cruelty to children. Sharetta Hull used to be a daycare worker at a Stone Mountain facility, and now she will spend at least 20 years in prison if she lives that long. Fox 5's Tara Jabor joins us live now with more on the story. Tara?
Well, Russ, during the sentencing, the state showed videos of Hull abusing children at a daycare in June of 2022. Her charges are related to 8 victims, the youngest just 6 months old. But the state believes that there are more victims, and we want to warn you, some of the video in this story may be difficult to watch.
Sharetta Hull will likely spend the rest of her life in prison after pleading guilty to 19 counts of cruelty to children.
How do you plead to the charges? Guilty or not guilty? Are you in fact guilty? Yes.
The state showed a series of surveillance video from inside Apple Tree Learning Center and Academy in June of 2022. The prosecutor says Hull's actions weren't a single lack of judgment or isolated event, rather a repeated pattern of behavior.
I referred to this daycare before in previous hearings as a house of horrors, and that's exactly what it was, and I stand by that.
Take a look at some of the videos shown in court. The prosecutor says she worries about the future of the children that Miss Hull abused.
These children, Judge, are going to carry this emotional, psychological, and physical impact forward into adolescence, into adulthood.
We also heard from the parents of victims. One woman says Hull caused her son to have a concussion, and now their lives are not the same.
My child now has his own delays. He's not potty trained, and he's on an IEP before even going to pre-K. I cannot work full-time because I can't trust daycares with my child that now has special needs.
Throughout the sentence, Hull was very quiet. Her defense argued for a different sentence because of her age, health, and no prior criminal history.
They saw the videos just now. They're here today. They support her still. Her family supports her still.
But ultimately, Judge Jackson handed Hull her fate.
Ms. Hull, I'm going to sentence you to 30 years to serve 20.
And 2 other people from the daycare pleaded guilty in August of 2024 to charges of cruelty to children. The director of the daycare also pled guilty to failure to report child abuse. At the live desk, Tara Jabor, Fox 5 News.
You trust those people to take care of your children. It's just terrible. Tara, thanks.
Head over to Kentucky. A man in Hardin County has been arrested on charges related to child sexual abuse material after an investigation by the Kentucky State Police Electronics Crime Branch. 51-year-old Christopher Scott Barnes was arrested as a result of the undercover investigation. That investigation began in Santa Claus, Indiana, where police discovered a suspect was procuring the minor online. The suspect was later determined to be a Kentucky resident, and the investigation was transferred to the Kentucky State Police Electronic Crime Branch. After a search warrant was issued, officers found equipment that was used to facilitate that crime, and the equipment was seized and taken to Kentucky State Police's forensic laboratory for investigation. Barnes, this chomo here, is charged with 1 count of fugitive from another state, 3 counts of procuring or promoting the use of a minor by electronic means. These are Class D felonies punishable up to 5 to 10 years in prison, and 3 counts of indecent exposure first degree. Barnes remains lodged at the Hardin County Detention Center, where he belongs.
The Rockville Police Department served an arrest warrant on Jacob Hensley. He's 20 years old, of Clinton. Hensley is accused of attempted sexual misconduct with a minor. That investigation was conducted by the Rockville Police Department, an affiliated member of the Indiana Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force.
It reminds me of a football player with the marks under his eyes, you know? Of course, on a losing team.
New this morning, a Rowan County woman is facing several charges after being accused of sexually abusing a 1-year-old child. This happened Monday in China Grove. The Rowan County Sheriff's Office says it got a tip from the FBI that 33-year-old Veronica Yeri had online conversations involving sexual abuse of an infant. A search warrant was obtained for her home, where investigators say they found both physical and digital evidence of the crime. They also say they found marijuana in that child's room. Yeri was later taken into custody during a traffic stop near her home. Now, Yeri now faces several serious charges, including felony child abuse, first-degree forcible sex offense with a child, and first-degree sexual exploitation of a child, among others. Her bond has been set at $10 million. The child has been released to the Rowan County Department of Social Services. Yeri is expected in court on March 2nd.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.
At 6, the Shasta County man who pleaded guilty to child sexual assault will spend 35 years to life in prison. Ryan Dalton pleaded guilty last month to several charges, including 2 counts of lewd acts upon a child under 14. He also admitted that the crimes involved violence. Dalton received the maximum sentence.
A man from Castlehane is facing 10 new counts of child exploitation. Benjamin Godwin is accused of having images and videos of children, some of them even as young as toddlers. Records show Godwin was already facing 20 counts of child exploitation in Pender County. He was arrested in January but was released 5 days later after posting a $75,000 bond. However, with these new charges from New Hanover County, he's now being held with no bond.
And developing right now, we go to Brentwood, where a man is behind bars on $1 million bond. TBI says he has exploited several children. Want to show you his picture here and tell you what we know so far. This is Scott Quarles. Police say he sent graphic photos and text messages, and they went undercover pretending to be underage girls. The officers did. That's how they caught him. Police say they also found the victims. So this man is now charged with aggravated statutory rape and several other sex-related crimes. The investigation continues this morning as well, so anybody who might have been connected to Quarles at any point is asked to contact authorities. Again, take a good look at your screen here. You can call 1-800-TBI-FIND. That number will connect you to the TBI tip line.
In a matter of hours, the trial for a Boundary County woman charged with child sexual abuse is scheduled to begin today. 51-year-old Catherine Cowell faces 2 counts of lewd conduct with a minor under 16 years old. The alleged incidents happened between 2012 and 2015. Her husband, Richard Cowell III, pleaded guilty to similar charges in July, but his guilty plea does not legally affect her.
San Jose, California. An assistant principal from the South Bay is under arrest accused of trying to meet up with a child for sex. San Jose police arrested Ruben Guzman, who works at the Sunrise Middle School in San Jose. As an assistant principal, he had close access to children, and the police there believe there may be additional victims. San Jose police did an undercover operation and say Guzman tried to meet what he thought was a 13-year-old boy. However, when Guzman arrived, officers met him and arrested him on the spot. Officers say Guzman acknowledged the person he was meeting was underage and wanted to engage in sex with him and even offered him money. Guzman is now being held with no bond pending further court proceedings. See ya, Chomo.
The Rockville Police Department served an arrest warrant on Jacob Hensley. He's 20 years old, of Clinton. Hensley is accused of attempted sexual misconduct with a minor. That investigation was conducted by the Rockville Police Department, an affiliated member of the Indiana Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force.
It reminds me of a football player with marks under his eyes, you know? Of course, on a losing team.
New this morning, a Rowan County woman is facing several charges after being accused of sexually abusing a 1-year-old child. This happened Monday in China Grove. The Rowan County Sheriff's Office says it got a tip from the FBI that 33-year-old Veronica Yeri had online conversations involving sexual abuse of an infant. A search warrant was obtained for her home, where investigators say they found both physical and digital evidence of the crime. They also say they found marijuana in that child's room. Yeri was later taken into custody during a traffic stop near her home. Now, Yeri now faces several serious charges, including felony child abuse, first-degree forcible sex offense with a child, and first-degree sexual exploitation of a child, among others. Her bond has been set at $10 million. The child has been released to the Rowan County Department of Social Services. Yeri is expected in court on March 2nd.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.
At 6, the Shasta County man who pleaded guilty to child sexual assault will spend 35 years to life in prison. Ryan Dalton pleaded guilty last month to several charges, including 2 counts of lewd acts upon a child under 14. He also admitted that the crimes involved violence. Dalton received the maximum sentence.
Maryland State Police arrested a St. Mary's County man this morning after an investigation developed evidence of the possession and distribution of child sexual abuse material. The suspect is identified as Leonard Nelson Jr., a 19-year-old of Clements, Maryland. In consultation with the Office of the St. Mary's Attorney in St. Mary's County, Nelson was arrested and charged with 2 counts each of distribution and possession of child sexual abuse material and 7 counts of accessing and viewing child sexual abuse material. He was transported to the St. Mary's County Detention Center, where he is being currently held without bond. So back in December of 25, the Maryland State Police received a cyber tip from none other than the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And that investigation led to the identification of this Chomo Nelson as the suspect. Troopers then from the Maryland State Police Child Exploitation Unit, as well as the Leonardtown Barracks, along with federal law enforcement partners, all served a search warrant at his house in Clements. Nelson was nabbed up, interviewed, and arrested on scene without incident. See ya, Chomo.
A Columbus County man is in jail tonight facing serious charges involving a child. Deputies arrested 23-year-old Sterling Robertson yesterday for statutory rape and sex with a minor. Investigators say the crimes happened back in late January. Robertson was in court this morning where he asked for a public defender. He's currently being held without bond. $1 bond. A man in Columbus County is in custody tonight, accused of sexually abusing children. Daniel Cox was arrested after sexual and physical abuse was reported to social services in Bladen County. He faces 10 charges, including child abuse, forcible sex offense, and statutory sex offense. He's being held without bond. New at 11. A proposed development site has neighbors.
Former Mount Horeb coach has been arrested after being accused of inappropriately communicating with students. David Chancellor faces charges of stalking and fourth-degree sexual assault. Police say inappropriate communications and acts occurred between Chancellor and a former student athlete. Last week, the Mount Horeb School District fired Chancellor amid the investigation. He is also prohibited from being on or around any school district property.
The Tuscaloosa Violent Crimes Unit confirms Thomas Rayburn Ferris of Leeds was arrested last night in Hoover. Court records indicate he's accused of raping a juvenile back in 2020 who later gave birth to his child. And the arrest comes after his bond was revoked earlier this month. Monday night, a multi-agency law enforcement operation temporarily shut down Pelham Parkway, U.S. Highway 31 from Pelham city limits to Valleydale Road. Authorities say the suspect, who we later learned was Thomas Rayburn Ferris, was located at an extended stay hotel on South Park Drive in Hoover. Court records show Ferris is charged with first-degree rape in a case involving a juvenile victim. Documents allege the assault occurred in 2020 in an outdoor playhouse or shed. The victim later gave birth to a child in 2021, and DNA testing identified Ferris as the father. Ferris was arrested in 2022 and released on a $35,000 bond. That bond was revoked on January 14, 2026, after he failed to appear in court. Prosecutors also allege he violated bond conditions by obtaining work as a church security officer in Birmingham and carrying a firearm while prohibited to do so. During the Hoover operation, traffic on U.S. Highway 31 was temporarily closed Monday evening to allow officers to safely conduct the arrest. The roadway has since reopened. Officers from Hoover, Pelham, Vestavia Hills, and the Shelby County Sheriff's Office assisted in the operation. The Tuscaloosa Violent Crimes Unit confirmed Ferris was taken into custody by the U.S. Marshals Gulf Coast Regional Fugitive Apprehension Task Force and is now booked into the Tuscaloosa County Jail, being held without bond. I did reach out to the U.S. Marshal's Office for more information on Ferris's arrest. I've not yet heard back from them.
News as we learn more about an investigation into a Darien High School math teacher who's charged with child endangerment. Channel 3 Stephanie Simone is at the First Alert desk with this new information. Stephanie.
Yeah, Kara, we just got new court documents this afternoon. Police arrested Sean Boardman for allegations that he inappropriately touched a girl during a tutoring session back in November. Now, it turns out several people had complained about him over the years across multiple school districts. In 2019, he was working at Nathan Hale Ray High School in Moodus, where the principal found him after hours next to a female student seated on a towel. The incident was reported to the state, but he was not arrested. And a few years later, he was working as a math teacher at Bunnell High School in Stratford, and multiple varsity softball players filed complaints about his behavior, including unwanted shoulder massages and making inappropriate comments. Again, complaints were reported to the state, but they were not investigated. Darien police will lead this newest investigation. On the First Alert desk, I'm Stephanie Simone, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
A convicted sex offender is behind bars after allegedly inappropriately touching a person with disabilities in a public restroom. Beauregard Parish Sheriff Mark Herford says 63-year-old Sydney Moore Adcock of Ragley touched the adult's genitals on December 13th. Adcock reportedly knows the victim and knew that they had disabilities. He was arrested last Wednesday on a charge of sexual battery of the infirm. Adcock is being held without bond.
We'll head over to Amarillo, Texas. A former mayor of Fritch and Baptist minister was arrested on child pornography charges. Get it right, people. It's child sexual abuse material charges. Kind of messes me up when I'm trying to read through these articles. This is William Billy Robbins. He was arrested Saturday by the Amarillo police. He's charged with solicitation of possession with intent to promote child sexual abuse material. See, I changed it there. According to court documents obtained by ABC 7 News on May 8th, Robbins commanded or attempted to induce a girl under the age of 17 to take naked photos or video of herself and kept them on his phone. Robbins' attorney waived his right to pretrial arraignment and entered a plea of not guilty. Robbins was the elected mayor of Fritch back in May of 22, and before that he was an alderman for 4 years. According to his LinkedIn page, Robbins was the senior pastor at Pleasant Valley Baptist Church from May 24 until June of 25, when he resigned.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. Southeast Kansas investigators arrest 5 men for child sexual crimes after a multi-agency operation targeting those who prey on children. Cherokee County Sheriff Brian Henderson says his deputies, along with agents and deputies from Kansas and Missouri, joined together Thursday and Friday and arrested Darren Price of Anderson, Nicholas Perez Paxter of Neosho, Derek McKinney of Sircoxie, Trevor Porter of Pittsburgh, and Nicholas Reginald of Jackson, Mississippi. The 5 are being held on charges ranging from aggravated human trafficking, aggravated indecent liberties, and electronic solicitation of a child. Few details about the operation are available at this time, but Sheriff Henderson does say they continue protecting children from those that prey upon them.
Then in Cass County, a man's been sentenced on child sexual abuse material charges. Dylan McKelveny pled guilty in October to promoting an obscene sexual performance by a minor and possession of prohibited materials. He was given a 10-year sentence on January 20th. Following his sentence, he will be on supervised probation for the next 2 years and must register as a sex offender. Investigators found 111 child sexual abuse material files on his cell phone showing multiple victims. He confessed during questioning.
Well, to developing news now, a 55-year-old man was arrested after he sexually abused a child last month at an El Paso home. This is all according to court documents obtained by KTSM. Carlos Duran is charged with indecency with a child by contact and aggravated sexual assault of a child. Records say a 13-year-old girl reported that Duran had touched her private area and performed oral sex on the victim. Documents say the child told officials that the abuse happened while she was at home doing homework. Now the victim told a staff member from her school what happened, and that employee reported the incident to police.
A former Northeast Nebraska teacher accused of having a sexual relationship with a student last spring has now taken a plea deal in district court. 35-year-old Brittany Stanek pleaded guilty to first-degree sexual assault, and in return she had 2 other charges dropped. Last April, the superintendent at Bancroft-Rosalie Schools called the Cumming County Sheriff's Office, alleging that Stanek told other staff members she bought alcohol and tobacco for 2 students. After investigating, text messages were found showing that she had an inappropriate relationship with one of them. She's now set to be sentenced on April 2nd.
Police in Galveston arrested an accused kidnapper and child sex predator just days after he was arrested, accused of inappropriate behavior on the SMU campus. Good evening. I'm Clarice Tinsley. Fox 4 Stephen Dial has more on the suspect and his alleged crimes. Stephen.
Law enforcement officials have described 27-year-old Graham Dunn as a serial sexual predator. According to the Dallas Sheriff's Office, Dunn was wanted for evading arrest at SMU the week before the alleged kidnapping.
I can tell you right now, justice has arrived, and this man will get the full measure of justice.
The Galveston police chief says that his investigators uncovered a lot more than expected when they arrested 27-year-old Graham Dunn for kidnapping and aggravated sexual assault of a child.
In a review of Dunn's criminal history, it revealed that he's a serial sexual offender with multiple confirmed arrests, pending charges in several states, and active investigations still going.
The 12-year-old victim was abducted on January 30th. She was walking her dog in a Galveston neighborhood. The Galveston police chief said Dunn used social media to lure the girl before forcing her into his vehicle. Investigators got a ping on the girl's phone that helped locate her at a hotel. The chief credits one of his officers for working to get access to that hotel video.
Thankfully, due to his persistence, he was able to view the surveillance video, and it was clear that the child had been brought inside of the hotel
and was accompanied by Graham Dunn. Officers forced entry into the hotel room and recovered the child and arrested Dunn.
According to Dallas County records, Dunn was in custody just over a week earlier for evading arrest at SMU. The school put out an alert on January 21st after a man approached a woman on campus and touched her inappropriately. The suspect ran off, but was arrested hours later. At the time of his arrest in Galveston, Dunn was also wanted for a bond violation in Dallas County on a family violence charge. But even more disturbing, the Galveston police chief says that Dunn's history showed multiple pending charges in Texas and other states for sex crimes against adults and children.
There should be no leniency for somebody like this. It's proven again and again that they're a sexual predator. They're preying not only on women, but girls. This is not going to be tolerated in this county, and it starts with the bond decision. I want no bond.
Dunn has ties to Frisco. It's unclear if he was living in the DFW area at the time of the SMU and Galveston crimes.
5 men were arrested and booked into the Cherokee County Jail after allegedly trying to solicit minors for sex. The KBI and the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office worked with local, state, and federal law enforcement to make those arrests. It was a 2-day operation, so those men arrested were Darren Price of Missouri, Nicholas Reginald of Mississippi, Trevor Porter of Pittsburgh, Nicholas Perez Paxter of Missouri, and Derek McKinney of Missouri as well. All suspects face various charges, including commercial sex exploitation of a child, aggravated human trafficking, and electronic solicitation of a child. All suspects were booked into the Cherokee County Jail, which is in southeast Kansas.
Here we're going to head over to Akron, Ohio. A man's been sentenced to life in prison for raping and assaulting a child last year. Summit County prosecutor Elliot Kolkovich announced 61-year-old Walter Jenkins sentenced after he was found guilty of raping a 6-year-old multiple times in 2025 while she was in his car. Authorities said Jenkins also showed the child pornographic material. The 61-year-old designated a Tier 3 sex offender, which requires him to register every 90 days with the local sheriff for the rest of his life, if he's ever released from prison anyway. Jenkins' charges included 2 counts of rape, both first-degree felonies, 2 counts of gross sexual imposition, both third-degree felonies, 1 count of disseminating matter harmful to juveniles, a 5th-degree felony. Jenkins will be eligible for parole after 15 years. Well, by the looks of him, doesn't look like he's going to last that long. Hopefully not.
Well, the mayor of Trussville is addressing the public after a detective was terminated last summer and arrested this morning.
This comes after the department was made aware of allegations involving the sexual abuse of a child. We have Michael Higdon at the Breaking News Desk with much more. Michael.
The mayor says he promised transparency when he was elected, and he's sharing the details behind those allegations and the arrest today. Anthony Martin was employed as a detective with the Trussville Police Department from January 2019 until his termination for cause in early July 2025. The department became aware of allegations involving the sexual abuse of a child. Upon receiving this information, the Trussville Police Department immediately initiated an internal affairs investigation and placed Martin on administrative leave. Well, following that investigation, the department, according to the mayor, recommended Martin's immediate termination, which was upheld by the chief of police. The criminal allegations were then referred to the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency in accordance with department policy. That case was presented to a grand jury. Warrants were issued and Martin was arrested earlier this morning. The mayor posted on social media saying in part what you see on your screen, these charges remain allegations and Martin is entitled to due process under the law. I want to be absolutely clear though, the city of Trussville has zero tolerance for criminal behavior by anyone, especially those entrusted to serve and protect our community. Violent crimes, particularly crimes against children, have no place in our society and deserve to be addressed fully through the justice system. Martin is charged with 2 counts, including sexual abuse of a child younger than the age of 12 with an object. He remains in the Jefferson County Jail with no bond.
A former junior high school teacher at a Southwest Valley school is facing multiple felony charges tonight over an alleged relationship with a former student.
Brian Conway's charges also include possession of child pornography.
Our Will Silverstein joins us live with the latest on this case since his arrest last week and what Conway had to say in court today. Will?
Well, Dana Conway not saying much in court. He's got another status check coming up in the next couple days as well. But the big news from today, Conway not being able to afford a lawyer going forward. In handcuffs, former Clifford Lawrence Junior High School teacher Brian Conway making an appearance in court. Conway's facing 3 felonies. The allegations center around Conway's alleged relationship with a former student, one he supposedly provided jewelry, wore matching hoodies with, as well as sexted, the two communicating over Instagram, Signal, and text. The investigation coming to a head over the last week with authorities arresting Conway the day the alleged victim's father interviewed with police. Here is his interaction with the judge today when asked if he has read his charges.
Did you read it and understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Can you afford to hire your own lawyer?
No, ma'am.
I will appoint the public defender to represent you.
Last week, News 3 spoke with another former student who did not corroborate a possible name as the student in the report, but said this about a female student who would talk in class with Conway often.
She would sit on his desk and stuff, and she would call him funny, and she would usually wear shorter skirts around him and tank tops.
Meanwhile, the student in the arrest report has left the state in court, the judge confirming with a quiet Conway that he will not be contacting the individual.
And sir, obviously I'm extending the no contact. It goes without saying, okay? All right, thank you.
All right, so you have the status check coming up in 2 days, but let's talk about 2 weeks. That's the preliminary hearing, maybe some more details coming out then on February 23rd.
Yes, to that point, preliminary hearing, we'll get a lot of new details and facts in that case for sure, and I know you'll be there for us as well. Will, thank you.
Former Pueblo County Sheriff's deputy who was arrested for possession of child sexual abuse materials. Andrew Ward was arrested back on February 4th. He's facing 2 counts of sexual assault on a child under 15 years old by a person in a position of trust. And on top of that, 13 counts of sexual exploitation. According to documents obtained by our news partners at the Gazette, Ward had at least 500,000 child sexual abuse materials in his possession. However, police estimate that it could be closer to 1 million materials. Ward is scheduled to make his first court appearance on February 23rd.
People are facing human trafficking charges. Police said the case began when Child Protective Services reported a runaway juvenile, and officers found the juvenile and confirmed that she had been held in a hotel room and forced to perform sexual acts. Investigators also say the juvenile had been transported to several hotels along the Gulf Coast and to New Orleans.
New at noon, a Groveport man accused of sexually abusing 2 children was sentenced by a Franklin County judge today. NBC4's Brett Mills is in that courtroom and joins us now with the latest. Brett.
Yeah, that's right, Sierra. Robert Burns was sentenced to 14 to 17 years in prison after the judge agreed to a joint recommendation by the prosecution and the defense. Now, according to the Franklin County Municipal Court, Burns is accused of making 2 children perform sexual acts on him. Now, the incident occurred in May of 2023, and he was charged with multiple counts of rape. Burns was recently changed his plea to guilty in September of this year. There were families of the victims present in the courtroom today, and they were able to give impact statements. One parent saying that they forgive him, but not what he did. The judge also weighed adding more years to his sentence, but agreed to go with the joint recommendation. She did also note in the middle of this sentence, she said, quote, that if you are not a monster, your behavior is monstrous. Local for you, I'm Brett Mills, NBC4.
Thanks for watching. For more NBC4, download the NBC4 streaming app. You'll get free 24/7 local programming streamed straight to your living room. Just search NBC4 Columbus on your Apple TV, Amazon Fire, Roku, or Samsung device.
A Jonesboro man has been arrested after allegedly sharing child sexual abuse material online. The Washington County, Tennessee Sheriff's Office's Ashton Drollinger was charged with aggravated sexual exploitation of a minor. The Sheriff's Office reports it began an investigation in January. Evidence led deputies to a home on Charlem Hills Road in Jonesboro. Drollinger was taken into custody and remains in the Washington County Detention Center. The investigation continues.
A 34-year-old Fort Pierce man was arrested Tuesday night after investigators determined he was in possession of child sexual abuse material. It's according to the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office down there in Florida. Detective Corporal Wax was alerted around 7:45 p.m. on February 3rd by the Indian River County Sheriff's Office about a cyber tip involving a person suspected of possessing that material. During the investigation, detectives made contact with Stacy Gothro Offord Jr. Authorities say the inquiry found that Offord was in possession of child sexual abuse material, and he was arrested on a charge of that possession and taken to the St. Lucie County Jail, where he remains in custody. This arrest here highlights the strong partnership between their agency and the Indian River County Sheriff's Office, said Sheriff Richard Del Toro. Detective Corporal Wax acted swiftly and decisively to remove this offender from the community. Crimes against children will not be tolerated, and we will continue to hold offenders fully accountable. Well, we'll see that when he goes in front of the judge and gets off in a year or so. Anyways, the case is still under investigation and additional charges could be filed as soon as new information becomes available. See ya, Chomo. For now.
All right, thank you, Alex. Right now, we're learning that a former Johnson County teacher and coach pleaded guilty Tuesday to having an inappropriate relationship with a student. That's according to the Johnson County Sheriff's Office. Charles Beal of Dublin was arrested and charged back in November of 2024 with 8 counts of improper sexual contact by an employee. The Sheriff's Office says Beal pleaded guilty Tuesday and was sentenced to 50 years. The first 20 will be in prison, followed by 30 years of probation. The Sheriff's Office says that investigation started when they got a tip that Beal was having a relationship with a student. Deputies determined that the relationship had been ongoing from August to November of 2024. Beal was a coach and a teacher at Johnson County Middle and High Schools, according to now deleted pages on the school's website.
Then a Jamestown woman is facing charges after police say she had sexual contact with a 14-year-old boy. Authorities were called to a home on Monday night where a mother had reported catching 19-year-old Valerie Mann with her son. Court documents state the teen admitted to the encounter, as Mann also told police she had unprotected sex with the boy. She had been living with the family since last July, and she will make her first court appearance on Wednesday. A preliminary hearing is set for February 4th.
A 4th person is now in custody in an IMPD sex trafficking investigation. Detectives say the months-long case led to the rescue of 2 young women and the arrest of everyone believed to be involved. News 8's Malia Van Ostran is following this investigation.
Behind me is the hotel where IMPD says this investigation started in August of 2025. What started as a welfare check led to the arrest of 4 people. IMPD Vice and Human Trafficking detectives arrested 31-year-old Tyree White last week. He's accused in a sex trafficking investigation involving 2 female victims. He's facing charges of rape, human trafficking, and making unlawful propositions.
Great work by the detectives, those street cops, and I can't give enough praise to the lead detective here, but think about the victim here. That's what we have to think about and continue to work.
Police say the case began in August. Officers went to the Comfort Inn and Suites Northwest near the Pyramids Office Park for a welfare check involving a teenager. Officers found signs of sex trafficking. That led them to find 2 nearby hotel rooms. Police say the signs can be hard to pinpoint, but they include a person looking disheveled, tight-fitting clothes, provocative shirts, and marks on the body.
It just does not look proper. It looks sometimes something straight out of what would be a movie or a TV show. But you see the tattoos and branding sometimes, and tattoos that talk about money, pimping, just things of that nature.
Police arrested 31-year-old Lovey Grace back in August, the day they found the victim. He had keys to 2 hotel rooms and $7,600 in cash. There's also a closet full of beer. Cocaine, marijuana, and condoms were also found. 18-year-old Tamia McKinney was arrested the following day after a second victim came forward. McKinney is accused of promoting prostitution. Another woman, 29-year-old Kayla Willoughby, was arrested later in the investigation for promoting human sexual trafficking, prostitution, human trafficking, and promoting prostitution. Thompson says the cash, alcohol, and drugs are usually kept in the controller's room.
That's their cash box, right? That's where they're keeping, because they're working in cash denominations. The alcohol, you see that high storage, not only is that something to control with, as well as the narcotics, it's also something then, hey, yeah, we'll bring in someone else, because a victim here is still conscious.
IMPD encourages anyone who believes they may be a victim of human trafficking to seek help through local groups or law enforcement.
The incidents that happened in the past in your life, we want to help you work through those events, because there are so many young ladies, so many young men, so many men and women out there that are going through this that nobody's an advocate for. And we need you to speak up. We need you to come forward as a victim to help those people.
In Indianapolis, I'm Leah Van Ostrand for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
An elementary school teacher has been arrested and placed on administrative leave after allegedly having child pornography and talking with an underage girl online.
Tonight, we have new information on what police found in their investigation of 58-year-old David Fawcett.
WMTV's Tabitha Bland joins us with what we've learned.
According to a search warrant for Fawcett's home, this all started when the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children contacted police in Texas about a 15-year-old girl sending explicit photos on the internet. One recipient, a Snapchat account that police traced to an IP address in Madison, which they say belongs to Fawcett. Fawcett is an elementary school teacher at Nuestro Mundo Elementary and has been licensed to teach for more than 25 years in Wisconsin. The warrant details explicit messages between the accounts, including nude photos and videos of the minor, instructing her to do sexual acts on and off camera, and both parties acknowledging the illegal age gap. MMSD confirms that Fawcett has been placed on administrative leave, saying the district handbook saying, quote, an arrest, indictment, or conviction of a crime is not an automatic basis for an adverse employment action, quote, but with the nature of this alleged crime, the handbook goes on to say possession of child pornography, regardless of whether it involves a district student, is considered grounds for disciplinary action up to and including termination. The search warrant also refers to a different case back in 2022 involving Fawcett. It says a detective responded to a tip from the same agency from TikTok and talked to Fawcett as part of her investigation about his TikTok account. Live in studio, Tabitha Bland, WMTV 15 News.
All right, Tabitha, thank you. Fawcett is scheduled to appear in court tomorrow.
A Lynn Haven man is also facing charges for alleged sexual activity with a child. 50-year-old Jeffrey Matthew Spears is charged with capital sexual battery, lewd and lascivious battery, and lewd and lascivious molestation of a child under the age of 12. The victim claims Spears molested her dozens of times from the time she was 6 years old up until the age of 16. She also claims he placed cameras in her room. Bay County Sheriff's investigators arrested Spears yesterday. He's due in court tomorrow for his bond hearing.
A Kenduskeag man was sentenced to 27 years in prison after admitting to making sexually explicit videos and photos of two children.
24-year-old Justin Leonard pleaded guilty in federal court last year to charges of producing and possessing child pornography. According to prosecutors, a tip led federal investigators to search Leonard's home in 2024, and during that search, they discovered sexually explicit content of two very young children in a hidden folder on Leonard's phone.
The children's parents reportedly confirmed Leonard's statements and identified their children in the images and videos, according to federal prosecutors. Leonard was also ordered to pay $20,000 each to the two minor victims.
While imposing the sentence, the judge called Leonard's conduct, quote, the most heinous offense that can be committed.
Also new at noon, a Greenville County man is in jail facing charges for child sexual abuse material. According to the Office for the South Carolina Attorney General, 22-year-old Brandon Quintanero was arrested after cyber tip line report from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Investigators say Quintero distributed files of child sexual abuse material. He now faces 3 felony charges connected to the sexual exploitation of minors. The Attorney General is expected to prosecute the case.
On the night team, it's game over for a West Warwick man accused of grooming a child that he met online.
Yeah, investigators say this guy right here met the minors on a popular gaming site and then coerced them into a relationship. The 19's Leanna Falk is live in studio with how investigators say it happened. Leanna?
Yeah, Dan Patrice, officials in Florida are telling parents they need to wake up to what's happening online. This arrest out of Rhode Island, a shocking reminder of the possible dangers that live on the internet.
Sounds like some Jeffrey Epstein, like Chris Hansen stuff. I think that's disgusting.
Police call it calculated and predatory. Residents here call it shocking, disturbing, and far too familiar.
Disgusting. It's purely disgusting.
Investigators say 29-year-old Justin Atkins of West Warwick first contacted the child on Fortnite. The conversations then moved to Snapchat and Roblox. Authorities say he convinced the victim they were in a romantic relationship, knowing they were a minor.
Our technology's good. Law enforcement's getting ahead of the curve. We're going to catch them when they try to use this app to exploit little kids.
Police say Atkins built trust with in-game currency and gifts, including a brand new iPhone. They say he then coerced the child into sending explicit images and videos. Warwick resident Andromeda says companies should be held equally responsible.
Really upsetting. I know Roblox has a big pedophilia problem, and like the people who work at Roblox aren't doing anything about it. It's kind of pretty messed up.
The investigation began after the child reported the abuse. Florida authorities then tracked Atkins back to Rhode Island and arrested him in West Warwick.
It's a place where a stranger, an adult in another state, can get access to your little girl.
Former Secret Service agent Robbie McDonald say these cases follow a familiar pattern.
How serious do we need to take this?
Yeah, we've got to take this very seriously.
He warns parents not to underestimate how tech-savvy kids can be.
We've got to spend a little bit more time looking over the shoulder of our kids to see what they're doing and who they're doing it with and what platforms they're spending a lot of time with.
McDonald says parents should regularly check apps, messages, and gaming platforms and keep open conversations going at home. Atkins is being held without bond and faces 85 years behind bars if convicted. Live in studio, Leanna Falk, NBC 10 News 19.
Stands behind bars this morning for child sex crimes. Investigators say they found child porn on Jennings Crowley Sr.'s computer while searching his devices. He surrendered to the sheriff's office on Monday and is charged with sexual exploitation of.
Let's talk about positions of authority. You never know it by looking at this chomo, but he's a juvenile supervision officer. He was previously employed at the Hayes County Juvenile Detention Center. He's been arrested following an investigation into allegations of child sexual abuse. This is Justice Malachi Johnson. He was taken into custody after the Llano County Sheriff's Office Criminal Investigations Division obtained multiple arrest warrants on January 28th. Johnson faces serious legal repercussions, including charges of sexual assault of a child and indecency with a child by sexual contact, both of which are classified as second-degree felonies. The investigation, spearheaded by the Llano County deputies, revealed Johnson's professional ties to the Hayes County facility. To effect the arrest, the LCSO coordinated closely with the Hayes County Sheriff's Office, and following his apprehension, Johnson was booked into the Hayes County Jail. However, online records indicate that he was released a few days later on, probably because of low bail or something like that. While the charges were issued by the Llano County authorities, the officials have not yet clarified whether the alleged incidents occurred within the county or at the detention center where he worked. As the case moves forward, many details regarding the specific nature of these allegations remain withheld from the public. The Hayes County Juvenile Detention Center has not released a formal statement either regarding Johnson's employment status, and it's currently unclear if there are additional victims, which I'm pretty sure that there are. I mean, look at this chomo.
A Grand Forks man is facing felony charges after investigators allegedly found evidence of child sex abuse materials. On February 5th, Maynor Arita was taken into custody on 2 counts of possession of prohibited materials. The investigation began last October after 9 videos of children ages 6 to 16 were flagged in Artia's cloud account. He allegedly admitted to possessing the videos.
And another man was also arrested and charged with child porn in Lee County. 28-year-old Montrell Dowdell was arrested February 5th and charged with 7 counts of possession of child pornography. He has since posted bond.
All right, Jake, thank you. We're going to continue this now. Staying in West Valley City, a man is accused of kidnapping. Police say 31-year-old Tu Hu Luong was pulled over by officers, and there was a 14-year-old child in the front seat of his car. According to court documents, the 14-year-old was supposed to be riding the bus to school when they were picked up by Luong. And they say Luong was told to stay away from the 14-year-old, but still continued to drive around in the neighborhood. Police also add Luong has contacted younger boys 15 times. He's facing 1 count of child kidnapping.
The Missouri State Highway Patrol has arrested an Ozark County man in connection with a sexual abuse investigation. The sheriff's office requested the investigation last September. Investigators say they uncovered evidence of rape and abuse that began in 1993 and continued for years. 71-year-old Edward Britt was arrested and now faces formal charges, including rape, forcible sodomy, second-degree statutory sodomy, and incest. He is currently being held without bond in the Douglas County Jail.
Welcome back. We're following this breaking news alert. 2 suspects arrested in Nashville. They're accused of sexually assaulting children.
Yeah, Megan Fees at the WKRN.com alert desk now to break down the latest on the investigation. Megan.
Nicole, Mark, good morning. New arrest documents show this investigation started with cyber tips from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They pointed to a Reddit account from Nashville sharing what appeared to be newly produced child sex abuse material. According to those arrest warrants, Metro Police found those files in the possession of suspects Denzel Miller and Misty Jensen. Police also found images of both suspects participating in sexual contact with a child and also messages regarding that abuse. Miller and Jensen are both charged with sexual battery of a victim younger than 13 and sexual exploitation of a minor. Jensen was booked on a $250,000 bond and Miller was booked on a $350,000 bond. Remember, News 2 brings you breaking news around the clock at WKRN.com.
Thank you much, Tyler. In Lee County, Alabama, a man sits in jail this morning charged with possession of child pornography. According to jail records, 24-year-old Jason Scott was arrested Tuesday. He's charged with 10 counts of possession of child pornography. Each charge carries a $15,000 bond, totaling $150,000.
Police in Senegal say they've broken up a paedophile gang operating between France and the West African country. Investigators carried out a major operation dismantling a transnational organized criminal group, the force said in a statement on Sunday. 14 people appeared in court on Friday, charged with organized pedophilia, pimping, rape of minors under 15, sodomy, and intentional transmission of HIV/AIDS. All the defendants are Senegalese. 4 of them are accused of having acted on the instructions of a Frenchman arrested in northern France last year. Police say the group has been active since 2017. Members allegedly forced young boys to have unprotected sex with men, most of whom were HIV positive. Police carried out raids in Dakar and the city of Kaolack.
A Pasadena fire captain facing child sex abuse charges made his first court appearance today. CBS LA assignment editor Mike Rogers is at the desk, and Mike, a viewer tipped us off to this last week.
Yeah, that's why, Rita Bay, and we've been digging into this ever since. We have learned that Christopher Ramsteed, who is a fire captain with the Pasadena Fire Department, has been charged on 9 counts of sexual abuse of a child under the age of 14. He had his first court appearance today. He pleaded not guilty to all of the 9 counts against him. I'll show you a photo here of the suspect and the person that we are talking about. We're showing you these photos tonight because the Los Angeles Police Department's juvenile division believes that there are more victims here that they are looking for and would like to come forward. I did go through court records today and learned that the first of the 9 charges happened back in 2003. So we are talking about a significant period of time that the alleged sexual abuse has been going on. There's 3 children involved, according to the DA's office. One of those happened in 2003. Then there are 7 counts that happened related to a child in 2011, and then 1 count related to a child that happened in 2025. Now, tonight, the Los Angeles Police Department nor the DA's office is explaining exactly why they think there are more victims out there, if he had some sort of role that gave him access to children. The Pasadena Fire Department, though, says it was not in relation to his duty as a captain with the Pasadena Fire Department, saying they are aware of the allegations against the member and say he has been placed on administrative leave as the case continues. And again, he was in court this morning where he pleaded not guilty to all 9 counts against him. And we do know that he'll be back in court on the 13th for a bail review hearing. Right now, he's being held in the Los Angeles County Jail without bail. Just checked the jail records here a second ago. He is still in custody and will remain that way until a judge changes his bail. Rita Bay.
A particularly horrific case described by the prosecution as every parent's nightmare. It relates to 30-year-old Nathan Bennett, who worked at the Par 2 King Street nursery in Bristol from July 2024. This began to emerge in February last year when parents of children at the nursery and indeed staff raised concerns. The manager of the nursery, Victoria Tutton, viewed CCTV footage of Nathan Bennett placing his hands down the trousers of one of the children. That triggered an investigation. Bennett was immediately sent home, and Avon and Somerset police later arrested him at his home. The nursery itself in the centre of Bristol here was subsequently shut down. Now, we've had 4 days of evidence last week here during the trial at Bristol Crown Court. The jury heard how staff had noted that Bennett would sit children on his lap for lengths of time, wearing trousers with holes in the crotch area, and seemed territorial over certain toddlers and indeed their parents. One nursery practitioner who gave evidence here in court described how Bennett had a jealous attachment with 5 children and would take control of them. Now, this was an extremely distressing case for the jury to hear. Videos of 2 of the children, and these children were aged around 2 or 3 years old, were played in the case, referred to only as Child A and Child E. Child E's mother gave evidence telling the jury her son had demonstrated how he'd been abused. The mother told the court, "I got him to stop doing it. I asked him when did that happen, and he said it happened at nursery." The prosecutor, Virginia Cornwall, described the case, as I say, as every parent's worst nightmare. And today, Nathan Bennett, who is 30, was found guilty of all 8 charges. There was 2 charges of assault of a child under 13 by penetration, 2 charges of rape of a child under 13, and 4 charges of sexual assault of a child under 13. When dismissing the jury, the judge said that this was a case which involved the youngest children which he has ever dealt with, acknowledged the jury how distressing this case has been. We've also just had a statement from Avon and Somerset police who led the investigation. They described that Nathan Bennett was trusted to care for children but committed sexual offences against the very young children at his place of work. An investigation involving such young children was deeply challenging and distressing for all concerned. I would like to pay tribute to the support and strength shown by those families. That's Temporary Detective Inspector Lucy Ford. Bennett will be sentenced on the 16th of March.
Dan, thank you very much.
Illinois, a 24-year-old Joliet man was arrested Friday for possession of child sexual abuse materials. The Will County Sheriff's Office said on January 30th, detectives received a tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children regarding a Snapchat message. Over the year-long investigation, detectives obtained numerous search warrants and subpoenas regarding the case, and then on December 18th of last year, detectives searched the home of 24-year-old Charles Caples and seized several of his electronic devices. The sheriff's office said several videos and pictures of child sexual abuse material were found on the devices, and an arrest warrant for Caples was issued on Thursday, February 5th. He was arrested at his house without incident yesterday morning, and Caples has been charged with 3 counts of dissemination and 4 counts of possession of child sexually abusive material. He's being held at the Will County Adult Detention Facility without bond, pending a court hearing.
All right, we've got some breaking news this morning. Authorities arrest a Slidell man after they say he sent sexually explicit content to a 15-year-old. 42-year-old Joshua W. Duggar faces charges of computer-aided solicitation of a minor, indecent behavior with a juvenile, and child grooming. Authorities arrested Duggar Friday, booked him into the St. Tammany Parish Correction Center.
Yeah, you're a smart dude.
This stuff.
Okay, so how is them sending feet to anybody different than you sending your picture to him?
It wasn't like Easton was 20. He was 15.
Okay, so you were concerned about that? So if you were concerned, so you tell me you were concerned about his well-being.
Concerned.
Okay.
And then felt played with. Bounced back. It was an emotional roller coaster.
Okay.
I was trying
Blake,
to wrestle
Blake,
down
it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to get into some of your messages. You don't express any concern to people that say they're over 18. You don't talk about that at all with them. You don't ever say I'm concerned about this and that. You only show concern to people who say they're underage. But then you still say pics of them. So do you see how when you tell me that, hey, I was kind of concerned about this because of their age, that shows you kind of believe they're underage and you still send them pics. You see what I'm saying?
Because there's not over 18-year-olds I know that are doing that.
Correct. You don't. It's only underage.
Because I don't do that stuff.
All right, book them. Just kidding.
Welcome. Just waiting for you. Oh my God. Face, dude.
Who wore the footage?
Wow. Unbelievable. You went from being a...
Wait, we gotta do an outro press, or air press, do an outro for me. All right, what's up, guys? We're catching this foster dad for the second time. This time, we caught him in Texas the first time, and he still hit up the decoy even after the cop seized his phone for child. And he drove all the way to Benton, Illinois, where they do not around here. And
Obviously.
Obviously not. One of the most hilarious busts ever, I gotta say. And yeah, we're getting Blake arrested. We will go anywhere to get him arrested. So, and also there might be some good news in the works about this little situation from earlier. So we hope it gets.
Stay tuned for that.
Yeah, I hope so, man. But bye, Blakey.
Bye, Blake.
Oh God, wow, so minty. Dude, that's hilarious, dude. All right, book him.
Maynard police say they arrested a man in a disturbing case involving a child's online exploitation. Police say in December they tracked an online solicitation case to a home in Maynard. Officers found and rescued a 13-year-old girl in the home. They say Frederick Osborne allegedly coerced the girl into sending explicit images. They also say he posed online as a young person to target other children. Police arrested him after they say he interfered while officers were trying to serve a search warrant. Police say this case is tied to Montgomery County near Houston. Osborne is facing multiple charges, including interference with public duties. His bond is set at $500,000. Police say Victim Services is making sure the child has care and support. The investigation is ongoing.
Well, a former New York State corrections officer is going to spend the next 30 years behind bars for production of child pornography. 43-year-old Michael Regan of Amherst worked as a New York State corrections officer from 2007 until the FBI arrested him in 2020. During that time, he used social media to send sexual messages to a 13-year-old girl, soliciting her to send him sexual photos and videos. Regan then committed statutory rape with the victim and threatened her not to tell anyone about it. Regan was also convicted of taking sexual pictures of an infant with his cell phone. In addition to 30 years behind bars, Regan will face lifetime supervised release and must register as a sex offender.
Man right here accused of sexually abusing a child in his care. The Lake County Sheriff's Office believes the abuse had been happening for years. Fox 35's Chris Lindsay joins us live from Lake County with this story. So, Chris, deputies are now looking to maybe some other victims here.
Yes, they say oftentimes when these things happen, there are other victims they just haven't found yet. Now, these charges are stemming from things they say happened from 2019 to 2020. The girl reported it back then, but an arrest wasn't made until now.
After a handful of visits from the Florida Department of Children and Families, 54-year-old Mark Caruso is behind bars, accused of sexually assaulting a girl repeatedly.
Put your hands on your back, please. Okay. What's this all about?
He's facing 2 counts of sexual battery of a child, 2 counts of molestation of a child, and aggravated child abuse.
It's absolutely break your heart, and I'm glad we were able to get a resolution on the cases we know about.
The arrest report shows the alleged victim filed multiple reports of sexual and physical abuse in the years leading up to Caruso's arrest, starting in 2021. But at the time, there were were no consequences for Caruso.
Unfortunately, evidence didn't exist at the time that they were able to be taken to trial. New evidence has come to light, and we were able to make an arrest.
For example, in 2023, she was taken to the hospital with what she described as an attack by Caruso. He described it as a volleyball injury. The case was dropped when she later changed her story to match his, but a family member later told detectives Caruso had punched her. I'm told the charges may not end here.
And we're absolutely going to keep digging until we find the whole truth.
This is not the first time deputies have been called out to Caruso's home. Last January, Caruso's 14-year-old son went missing. Deputies told us the boy had recently told a sibling he was planning to run away. He was later found in the woods safe.
I reached out to DCF for more information about their investigation process, hoping to learn more about why something wasn't done sooner. They say they'll be reaching back out soon. Caruso's being held in jail without bond. Reporting live in Lake County, Chris Lindsay.
St. Mary Parish, the sheriff's office says an 18-year-old Franklin man is arrested for possession of child porn. Authorities say Raquan Arqua Prejean was arrested this afternoon on 2 counts of possession of pornography involving juveniles under the age of 13. But that's not all. On June 5th, Prejean had already been arrested and charged with indecent behavior with a juvenile. He was released on a $20,000 bond. The investigation revealed Prejean had child sexual abuse material stored on a device. His bond is now set at $75,000 with a no electronic device condition if he makes bail.
We begin tonight with a man wanted by Smith County Sheriff's Office for sexually abusing a child. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brennan Gurley. Here's what we know. The Sheriff's Office says Filiberto Rodriguez Mora, right there on your screen, is on the run and wanted on multiple felony charges, including continuous sexual abuse of a child under 14 and sexual assault of a child. Investigators say he was last known to be living on County Road 413. That's near the Tyler Pounds Regional Airport. Rodriguez Mora is now believed to be moving between different locations with friends. Deputies say he may be driving a tan Toyota Sequoia with a Texas license plate NWG 3486 registered to a family member. The sheriff's office is warning the public not to try to approach him, calling him potentially desperate and dangerous. Anyone with information is urged to contact the sheriff's office immediately. Investigators also say Rodriguez Mora's wife, Claudia Dominguez, was arrested for failing to report the alleged sexual abuse. Court records obtained by CBS 19 say she lied to investigators about her husband living in the home and allowed him to continue access to the children. Deputies say several children were coached to lie, and investigators later uncovered evidence pointing to years of abuse. Dominguez is charged with child endangerment.
People have now been arrested in connection to a human trafficking and kidnapping investigation.
According to Gulfport police, all of this allegedly happening in connection to a case that started with reports of a runaway teen. Back on January 22nd, the teen was found safe. The investigation revealed that Michael Moses and Bobby Mills had been holding that teen against the will of her legal guardian at a hotel room. They say she was also forced to perform sexual acts for Mills.
Now we're told that she eventually escaped by fleeing through a window. Mills was arrested and told detectives that 2 others were accomplices in the transportation of the juvenile, and they learned 2 additional people were connected. We have more details on this investigation and the charges on our website, WLOX.com.
You were under arrest on suspicion of rape and kidnap of a female in Nuneaton between 8 and 10 p.m. on Tuesday the 22nd of the 7th, 2025. This arrest is necessary for the prompt and effective investigation of the offence and to protect a vulnerable person.
What's your name?
Ahmed.
Okay. Ahmed, can you sit up for me? Have you got clothes? You got clothes on, yeah?
No.
Yeah, you got clothes on.
You were
Welcome to the hit list. You can't escape. Your face on the news. Don't mess with fate. Locked up in prison. Wood chipper running hot. Police on a mission. Hope you don't get caught. Silver bracelets tight. Get arrested tonight. In this endless fight. Can't hide from the light. Lies and deception, caught in the storm. Future in question, nowhere left to run. Silver bracelets tight, get arrested tonight. In this endless fight, can't hide from the light. The choices you made, heading one way. No turning back, this price to pay. Oh yeah, no, no, yeah, yeah. The choices you made, heading one way. No turning back, this price to pay.
Say, excuse me, Judge. How many times do I need to show these videos until people become aware?
Multiple times.
One for a rainbow, one for Amanda.
Who you playing with, sweetie?
Amanda.
Oh, who are you?
I'm Amanda. I'm 6, and I love unicorns.
Sexual predators are seeking kids online.
We don't know Amanda.
Learn how to report abuse at end-violence.org/protect.
Now get in there!